Hey there guys, what's going on? Today we've got another video in our Best Weapons of Modern Warfare series. With the latest update, Infinity Ward has pulled a little bit of a sneaky one on us with this update. We have seen a couple of changes that weren't actually mentioned in the patch notes. The Striker 45 was actually included in these hidden buffs, which also did include changes to the Mini Uzi, which we will save for another day. I mean, you guys never know that I would intentionally lie to try and mislead you with any of my titles, but I actually think this weapon is pretty serious in this game now. I do have you covered for the best class setup for the Striker 45 after this hidden buff, which like I said, makes this weapon very, very powerful in this game now. It used to just excel at headshot damage, but now it can actually kill in 2 shots to the body with this class. This gun feels actually insane now. It's wild how just a simple little change to the damage has made it feel like a brand new weapon. But just before we do get into our class setup here, let's try and get this video to say 7 likes. The support for the videos has been absolutely fantastic recently, so a huge plus thumbs up to you guys for supporting me and my videos. I do appreciate it massively. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of my videos. We are getting closer to 500 subscribers all the time, which is just completely wild to me. Right, let's talk about the best class setup for the Striker 45 after this secret buff. Right, so as I said in the previous Striker 45 video, it does feel like a less powerful assault rifle with SMG handling, but with this recent change, we've actually basically got a brand new weapon. I'd always been interested in the .45 hollow .12 round magazines, but it did seem like a bit of a gimmick, like a little bit of a meme. Like, it'd only be good if it could actually one burst people, which from the previous damage numbers that you can see here, that wasn't really the case unless you're getting those headshots. But now you're actually able to one burst to the upper torso, and that is pretty wild. Like, I mean, if you only get 12 shots in your gun, and that means you get 6 bursts, in theory, that's 6 kills. This gun definitely has some potential now and is actually really, really fun to use over the regular setup for the Striker 45. I think we've actually maxed out the Striker 45 here. Like, this is the best class setup for the gun now. I'm a little bit disappointed that these things don't actually get put in the patch notes sometimes. Like, we'll just have random changes to weapons, like attachments get added or things get buffed and changed and stuff like that. And we don't get told sometimes. So massive shout out to my guys at Dexito for reporting this and the exclusive Ace for testing it out. I still think they'll eventually give the Striker 45 a bit of a buff, but maybe only to the regular rounds rather than the hollow points. But we shall see. A decrease to the recoil or an increase to the damage definitely would not go astray. But let's talk about our class setup here. Alright, so we're going to start off with our sidearm perks and grenade choices here. We'll go over them quite quickly because they are very similar on all of my classes. Our sidearm is the 357 snake shot revolver, and we have set it up like this. We do, of course, have the 357 long barrel, the 5mm laser, the lightweight trigger, the snake shot, and the stippled grip tape. I've given away the akimbo perk here. I feel like it's just a little bit too unreliable for my liking now. In the perk 1 slot, you do have 3 choices here. So you can change between them basically on the fly in each game, and they're all very powerful options. So you want EOD if people are spamming those explosives, Kill Chain if you do want to get those higher streaks more easily, or Quick Fix, which is a new option that I've been using recently. And it just starts that healing immediately after you do get a kill. So if you do get into a gunfight with someone, they shoot you, but you get the kill, you'll start healing basically straight away, which is really, really powerful. In the perk 2 slot, we do have restock, so you recharge equipment over 25 seconds. That means you get a new tactical and a new lethal every 25 seconds, which is just really, really powerful. And lastly, we do have perk 3, which is the shrapnel perk. I feel like you do need shrapnel at the moment just for that extra piece of lethal equipment, because I feel like stuns and flashes are still busted in this game even if you do have battle hardened on, so it's not really worth running it at the moment. In the lethal slot, we do have the C4, which is really strong for clearing out areas and just chucking over walls and around corners and things like that, basically like flash checking corners. And the tactical is, of course, the stim shot, because it is really, really powerful in this game. Right, so starting us off with our attachments here, in the muzzle slot, we do have everybody's favorite, the monolithic suppressor. Damage range and sound suppression. I feel like this and the compensator are the best 2 options for most weapons in this game, but in this case, we do really, really enjoy the range extension and the sound suppression. It also sounds really, really cool. Just like, you can probably hear it in the background. It's just, I don't think Modern Warfare gets enough credit for its sound design, because this gun actually sounds sick. It's usually hard to go past extending out our damage range. We do, of course, lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness, but just, extending that damage range just feels way too powerful. We do of course lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and a bit of aim walking steadiness, but we can of course make up for what we lose here with other attachments. If you're aiming well, you're going to be getting loads of crazy 1-burst kills, at most 2-burst kills, which is pretty wild. So extending this damage range out a little bit further is really, really powerful. I just love the monolithic suppressor in this game. I definitely think it's one of the best attachments for sure. Like, it's got to go in the Modern Warfare Attachments Hall of Fame, because this is one of the goated attachments for sure. So of course, in the muzzle slot, we do have the monolithic suppressor. Our next attachment slot, we do have the barrel, and in this slot, we do have the 400mm stainless steel barrel. This is that barrel option for the Striker 45, damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This is always the perfect option for pretty much every weapon in this game. Like, everything would basically like to shoot a little bit further, a little bit faster, and be a lot more accurate. And the Striker 45, well, this Striker 45 class setup is no exception. There is another option that you can pick here now. They did fix the 300mm poly barrel. This actually does increase your damage and bullet velocity now, which it didn't used to. In this latest patch, they did actually make this happen, which is pretty funny. But I do imagine that it is a worse version of the 400mm stainless barrel for this specific class setup. It's good to see that this has been fixed, because it feels pretty bad when your attachments do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. We do of course lose a little bit of aim down sight speed and movement speed, but again, we've got attachments that make up for those stats. The 400mm barrel is the best barrel option that we can work with, and it makes this weapon excel at most ranges. Like, if you do hit those headshots and upper body shots, you just drop people so quickly. It is absolutely insane. So of course, in our barrel slot, we do have the 400mm stainless steel barrel. We've skipped over the laser slot. There's always an argument to be made for using the tac laser in this game. It's a really powerful attachment with most SMGs and assault rifles, but here we don't have enough slots. I feel like we're going to make use of all of our attachments in the ones that we've chosen. All these, the ones that we've chosen, are just really powerful, so we don't really have enough space to include the tac laser. The same goes in the optic slot as well. I'd always love to be using the GI Mini Reflex on pretty much every single gun in this game. It is the best sight available, but again, we don't really have a slot for it, so we skip over it. The iron sights on the Striker 45 aren't too bad by default, so we can skip over it here. Again, the same goes for the stock slot. I feel like you're not getting enough benefit out of any of these individual stocks to warrant using one here. Next, in the ammo slot, this is the main attachment and was the target of those recent secret buffs. You will want to run the .45 hollow point 12 round magazines. With this, we do get the damage, aim down sight speed, and movement speed bonuses at the cost of our magazine capacity and bullet velocity. The stock Striker 45 has a 25 round magazine, which does feel a little bit short, but with this, we are only working with 12 bullets, which I know that does sound pretty crazy, but do hear me out. If you are accurate with this thing, you can get some mean 1-burst kills to the upper chest and head. If you do throw in a headshot, like I said, the next bullet can basically hit their foot. It can like breeze past them and they'll probably fall over. You'll still do sick damage to them if you land one of those headshots. It is absolutely wild now. This ammo conversion just makes the gun shoot a whole lot better, and it just feels way more fun to use. I used to think that this was a meme, but you can see by these damage numbers here, like, who would run around with 12 shots without this damage? Like, this is nuts, man. It doesn't exactly sound viable just running around with 12 rounds in your magazine, but trust me, this is actually so fun to use. And when you do combine this with sleight of hand that we're going to talk about in a second again, you just reload so quickly that you can just keep sending those bullets down range. This feels absolutely crazy to use. It's so fun. This really is growing on me as one of my favorite weapons in the game at the moment. It's just so powerful and challenging to use. It's just something different, man. Like, it's always good to find something different to use in these games because it does keep it fresh and entertaining, and this is no exception here. Plus, you do get a little bit of a stippled grip tape effect by using this attachment with the aim down sight speed boost, which is just makes it feel pretty snappy. So in the ammo slot, of course, we want the .45 hollow point 12 round magazines. In the perk slot, as I already mentioned, in the ammo slot, we do want to have sleight of hand. You'll need that increased reload speed when you've only got 12 rounds, 6 bursts before you do have to reload. Pretty simple. With this attached, you reload so quickly that you don't really even have to worry about running out of ammo. You just shoot, and then basically you just reload. Really simple. I'll also make another recommendation here. With this class setup, you do definitely want to run the ammo box. You gotta run that ammo box just so you don't run out of ammunition. I think you get 5 clips total, so you get 6 clips total, so 12 and then 60 on top. So you gotta have extra ammo to run around with, otherwise you just end up screwed. Basically, you need to have that ammo box so you don't run out of ammo. So in the perk slot, of course, we do need sleight of hand here. And lastly, we do need something to tackle the little bit of recoil that is natural with the Striker 45, and that's our underbarrel slot, which goes to the Merc foregrip. for that recoil control and hip fire accuracy. We do of course lose a little bit of aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed, but like I said, we get it back from these other attachments that we've picked, so it's no real sweat. The striker doesn't really have too much recoil with this class setup, like the bullets don't actually bounce around too much, plus it's pretty easy to control with the burst fire, but it is always nice to have something to help keep you on target, help keep those bullets going in the exact right direction. I'd also make a recommendation for the commando foregrip in this slot as well for that horizontal recoil control. It's a really great option in this slot as well. But like I said, this class doesn't really have too much recoil to worry about, so you really shouldn't struggle to get those 1 or 2 burst kills with this thing. It is very, very powerful. So in the foregrip slot, we do of course have the Merc foregrip, which I feel like is a really, really good option for this slot. This is our full class setup here, all of the attachments that we have chosen, including the muzzle, barrel, underbarrel, ammunition, and perk slot, make the Striker 45 as powerful as it can be. So overall, this is actually growing on me as one of my favorite weapons to be using at the moment. It's just a lot of fun to run around with this. I used to think that the .45 hollow points would be a little bit of a meme, and they probably used to be, but now that they have been buffed with the increased damage, they're actually really, really powerful now if you can land those shots. This isn't the UMP45 that people remember. It's not exactly the same thing. I don't even think it is a UMP45. I think it's a different gun altogether, but this is a completely different beast with the burst fire, and it's just a great weapon that does really good damage, really good range, and doesn't really have too much recoil to worry about. It's really, really powerful. If you are looking for a weapon that's not at the tip top of the meta, but is still really, really powerful, look no further than this Striker 45 class setup. It's really fun to use, and if you did enjoy this one at all and it did help you out, make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here. I do, of course, very much appreciate it, and we are, of course, getting close to 500 subscribers, which is absolutely insane to me, and it really does help me out by letting me know that you're liking the content. If everyone who watched this video told a friend to subscribe and they actually did it, we'd be very, very close to 1,000 subscribers, which would be just... Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!